What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with a preview for the weekly reset coming up on the 15th of July, and of course this week is when we finally go into Edge of Fate. So in terms of a normal weekly reset video, of course, this one is a little bit different. There are plenty of things we don't really know about weekly rotations just yet, but we do know how Edge of Fate will change a lot of the stuff that we typically look at with weekly resets. So this week we'll talk about Preload, the update for Edge of Fate, some of the content that will roll out throughout the week. Additionally though, we've got a preview for the new season pass, changes coming to playlists like Nightfalls, key things to know about vendors and how we'll acquire some new rewards in Edge of Fate, as well as a couple of extra updates from Bungie. So, as always guys, I hope you enjoy the video today and find it useful. If you do, get subscribed to the channel as we'll have plenty of Edge of Fate content to cover in the next few days. Otherwise though, now let's get into it. It should go without saying, if you're wrapping anything up from episode Heresy, or Ride of the Nine, or this last year in general, you need to do so before we get to Tuesday 15th of July. Obviously, there will be a bit of downtime a few hours before Edge of Fate, and so Bungie have said at 4 AM PDT, maintenance will begin, and then at 5:45 AM PDT, Destiny 2 will be brought offline. So that will be around about 5 hours before the weekly reset time. Then of course, at 10 AM Pacific, D2 will be brought back online and the update will be playable. Bungie did say there'll be preload options for Edge of Fate, so some users may get that preload a bit early, but for most people, it will start on the 15th of July after 6 AM PDT, so around about 4 hours before Edge of Fate actually drops, that's when the updates should become available, and that will be the same across all platforms. So if you don't get the preload before then, during the downtime, around about 4 hours before the content drops, we should finally be able to do the install. Additionally, you can see the storage space needed for installation and the overall install size after the update for all of the platforms on screen right there. Some platforms will require a little bit of extra space to actually do the install, with the final size being a bit smaller. Otherwise, with a bit of luck, hopefully, this will be a reasonably smooth launch for the expansion. Otherwise, for content that we'll get access to over the next few days, another key mention is that the raid launches on Saturday, July 19th. This will be the Desert Perpetual, and there will be a contest mode available for 48 hours. Bungie have additionally said that completing the Edge of Fate campaign at Legendary difficulty will essentially get us contest ready. So it's either complete Legendary campaign for Edge of Fate, or complete the normal one and then hunt for some power before the raid goes live. Otherwise, that's the info we currently have for the raid drop-in on the 19th. It will of course mean a couple of weeks break before Trials returns. But for other key changes as we head into this week, of course, Bungie have revamped the reward pass, so they've said every rank reward will be available to earn on day one, no longer will we get lockouts on any of those ranks, and they've added some new boosts. So there'll be an activity score boost, which provides a 15% score bonus on all portal activities. That basically improves the kind of rewards we'll be able to get. There's also a Prime Engram boost, which increases the possibility of desirable armor and weapons from portal activities. Then a weekly challenge boost that allows players to complete various weekly seasonal hub challenges faster, streamlining their access to additional high-value rewards. And an XP boost, which will apply a 40% bonus to XP earnings when fully unlocked, along with an additional 20% bonus to Fireteam member XP. And in terms of the seasonal hub, Bungie said there'll be weekly ranks now, as well as daily and weekly challenges, so essentially, all of the season type stuff will be bucketed into this new hub, and that will reset on a weekly basis. So additionally in there, there'll be conquests available, allowing us to earn the renewed Conqueror title, which has now moved away from Nightfalls to these conquest activities, which are essentially Grandmaster level difficulty, but actually feature different types of content, whether it's Empire hunts or whatever else it may be. In terms of Nightfalls themselves, they'll remain accessible from the World tab, but won't be on a weekly rotator anymore, so all Nightfall weapons will be considered legacy gear, and Nightfall level activities will essentially move into the Conquest tab. Other key things to keep in mind, but new exotic armor from Edge of Fate will be unlocked by completing the Legendary campaign, and then can be farmed on an activity on Kepler, so we won't be earning them from the Cryptarch. Although Bungie said novel focusing for exotic armors from past expansions will be available to players immediately, with no need to decrypt engrams to unlock it. And in terms of upgrading existing exotic armor, Bungie have said that Ada will offer players a bundle of exotic armor tokens to re-roll with the new stat packages, so players must have unlocked the items in collections before Edge of Fate. These tokens are a one-time offer, and no new armors will be added to this in future, so there's no specific benefit to hoarding tokens. But it does allow us to update existing armor with the new stat packages. Otherwise, Bungie have said they'll automatically update exotic class items, so once we sign in tomorrow, they'll appear with a stat archetype like Brawler, Paragon, and so on, plus they'll have all of their stats reworked into the new system. Otherwise, you can see a list on screen of exotics that will get bonuses from the new artifact, as they'll be considered featured or new gear for this upcoming season. So that means weapons will get a damage bonus from the artifact as we level it up, and armor will get damage resistance. So might be worth keeping hold of a few of the exotics you can see on screen to access in the next week or so. So that's the Edge of Fate stuff that we can really talk about pertaining to Weekly Reset. Otherwise, we don't actually know how raids will be featured moving forward, but the rotation is set to continue as far as we know. So this week, best we can tell, Vault of Glass and Crowder's End will be featured raids, with Shattered Throne and Ghosts of the Deep as featured dungeons, and Starcrossed as the featured weekly mission. If there are any changes to those rotations moving forward though, we'll make more sense of it once we get into Edge of Fate. Otherwise, I don't see any reason that Dreaming City would change its rotation, so the Ascendant Challenge this week should be Agonarch Abyss, which is accessed via the Bay of Drowned Wishes. And so there we go, ahead of the launch, that's what we can talk about for today. I'll be keeping you posted with more updates from Bungie though, and content as we head into Edge of Fate, so keep it locked and loaded here on the channel, hit subscribe and I'll keep you up to date. If you found the video today helpful, a rating really does help me on the channel as well, but otherwise, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.
The current. You're so deep into the well.
Guardian down.